They never left the house. The Thompsons had been searching for their dream home for years, and when they stumbled upon the Victorian-style house at the edge of town, it felt like fate. Tall, grand, and with a price too good to pass up, it seemed perfect. The realtor mentioned the house had been on the market for a while, but didn't offer much explanation as to why. Eager to start their new life, the Thompsons dismissed any doubts. From the first night, strange things began to happen. They would hear creaks and whispers in the night, but chalked it up to the house's age. Then, little things started moving, keys misplaced, books falling off shelves. One evening, while cleaning out the attic, they discovered something curious, an old photo album. Inside were pictures of a family standing in the exact same rooms they now lived in. But the oddest part, the faces were blurred, almost erased. What would you think if you found a photo of someone in your house but couldn't make out their face? As days went by, the whispers grew louder, almost like a conversation they couldn't quite understand. One night, while heading to the kitchen for water, Mr. Thompson saw the faint outline of a figure standing by the front door. He called out, but there was no response. The figure slowly faded away, as if it was never there. Curiosity turned to dread when Mrs. Thompson began having vivid dreams of the previous owners, a family of 4. In her dreams, they were trapped inside the house, banging on the windows, screaming to be let out, but no sound ever escaped their mouths. If you dreamt of people begging to leave, would you take it as a warning? They decided to look deeper into the house's history. The more they dug, the darker the story became. In the 1920s, the original family had mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Neighbors reported hearing strange noises from the house at night, but no one dared investigate. The house had since passed through many owners, none of whom stayed for long. One evening, Mrs. Thompson felt a cold breeze rush past her in the hallway, even though all the windows were closed. When she turned around, she saw them, a family standing at the far end of the hall, their faces blank, their eyes hollow. She blinked, and they vanished. Trembling, she called out for her husband, but he didn't respond. What would you do if you saw people who clearly didn't belong in your home? In a panic, she rushed to find him, but he was nowhere to be found. Frantically searching the house, she stumbled upon the basement door, which had always been locked. It was now slightly ajar. She hesitated, then descended the creaky stairs. The basement was dark and musty, but as she reached the bottom, she saw something that made her heart stop. In the corner of the room were 2 chairs, and sitting in them were her husband and son, staring blankly ahead. She called their names, but they didn't respond. Slowly they turned their heads toward her, their faces emotionless, as if they were no longer themselves. If your loved ones suddenly acted like strangers, how would you react? Desperate, she ran back upstairs and tried to leave the house, but the front door wouldn't budge. No matter how hard she pulled, it stayed locked, as though someone was keeping her inside. The whispers around her grew louder, now clearly saying, "We never left." Panicked, she tried to break a window, but it wouldn't shatter. She could feel the house closing in on her, suffocating her, trapping her. The shadows lengthened, and she knew. She understood the truth now. The house wasn't just haunted, it was alive, and it didn't let anyone go. What would you do if you realized the house you lived in wanted to keep you forever? Just as she was about to give up, a sudden knock came from the front door, but when she opened it, there was no one there. Just the cold, empty street outside. Or so she thought. As she stepped onto the porch, the whispers followed, and she realized they never really left at all. They were waiting, and now they had her too. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.